It should be working now because I need to send a message. Oh, come on. It should be working. I don't know. There it goes. Oh, perfect. Go live here. Got to pause that because I don't want double audio. Now I got to do this. Open a third link. Jesus. Messages. Don't fail me now. And then, oh my God. Oh, okay. Up and running. Sorry about that, everybody. It always takes me a minute to get fully integrated. So I'm live on Instagram. Man, where am I live on? Instagram, Riverside, YouTube, and Twitch. So, which is really rare that I'm live on everything. The only thing I'm missing is the talk, but whatever. Today, in this recording, this live session, we're going to be talking to. I want to get the name right because I always get the names wrong. Always. Like even my buddy that was on here, Paco, I got his the podcast he's a part of wrong because I'm not the brightest. It is the name disappeared. There it goes. Space Cowgirl Yaya or Yanel Martinez. Oh man, my audios are. Let me check my audios real quick. Hello. Okay, good. Audios are perfect. So I'm excited. We're gonna be talking to her about some of her personal experiences, what she knows about from Colorado, if I'm not mistaken, and Mexico too. I it's just everywhere. Today's gonna be one of those everywhere episodes. Um, yeah. Let me actually go ahead and put this also on threads too, so we can get more people in here. Yes, don't like that. Okay. Where can I invite people on threads? Do I have a link to invite? We don't want guests. We want audience. Copy link. And then I'll post it here. Post. There it goes. So we got to get the news out of the way. Always starting off with what's going on in the global news or Hispanic news, what I usually do. Um, Apparently, I hate being political. I hate talking about this kind of stuff, but World War III is apparently kicking off with Iran, which for the US's part, for the presidency, it isn't the best decision. But I don't like talking about it too much. Actually, I got to check all my stuff too. Okay. People, there you go. I always got to check people. I should swap this around, but then my news is. Oh my god! I need a bigger monitor. I need more monitors. Is what I drink. Yeah, right. It's like product placement. Canceled. This is a yerba mate. It's an energy drink. It's a. If you've had it before, it's pretty good. It's Peruvian, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I like it though. One of my buddies at work got me onto this stuff, and it's good. Okay, still no one's here. Okay, which is fine. I don't mind because it gives me time to pull up some of my info that I need. Which I also have a phone for that too. I was on what I was looking for. Go back. Go back. Okay, cool. I know what I'm looking up now. Don't need that up. There you go. So just you know what? My mind's scattered. My mind is always scattered. Give me 2 seconds. This is why I write my scripts down and then have everything. I like doing these where I talk to people, guests and co-hosts and all that stuff. But I am my own worst enemy. Okay, so again, world news. Iran says U.S. strikes betrayed diplomacy, warns of consequences. Of course, it wasn't. It's not a great thing for that to happen. But I usually also check and do the news for Mexico. Let's see. Nothing big going on right now, actually. I lied. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, I'm sorry. I don't know. My webcam isn't working. I was like, oh my gosh. And yeah, my phone doesn't have the best camera. So I was like, ah.
That is perfectly fine. Like I said, the reason I like using the Riverside is that it helps with everything. So even if you don't have a camera, I can still use audio. I don't mind.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
No problem at all. So, have you heard any of the episodes that I recommended of mine?
I haven't gotten a chance to, but I have them all saved on my playlist, so I have to get to them.
That's perfectly fine. The way I usually do it, whenever I have a guest or a co-host on, it's all basically up to you. Because the last time I had a um, Paco from the Alpha Primos podcast, we talked about conspiracy theories and the monkeys from South Texas.
Oh,
Yeah, so like it goes all over the place. And then
yeah.
Shining Nathan, we talked about Chupacabra, and then with Latinos Against Spooky Shit, we talked about no, that was Chupacabra. Shining Nathan was La Llorona. So it's basically whatever you're most comfortable with or what you have more experience with is
Okay,
how I usually go.
cool.
Yeah, I've had paranormal investigators on here talk about their experiences and what they've gone through and the things they've seen. So I've met a lot of people doing this. It's fun.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, when you reached out, I was like, yeah, I love talking about scary stories so and paranormal things. So I was like, yeah, definitely interested.
I have one question.
Okay.
How do you get your ideas for a lot of your cosplays?
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry if you can hear the background noise. Um, yeah, so for my inspiration, honestly, like I kind of maybe they just sometimes they just pop in my head. Like there'll be like it usually happens when I'm at work and I'm just bored. um it'll just come in my head and then I'll start like sketching out ideas on my notepad and then I kind of like like start deciding what I like, what I don't like on a design. Um so I guess most of my ideas come out of boredom. But for my original Mexican Sailor Moon, that one was a little bit different. Um when I first did the Mexican Sailor Moon, uh, Easy Band came out with the Luz de Luna version, and when they did their remix, I heard it and I was like, oh my gosh, because I was already cosplaying, so I was like, oh, like I'm just gonna get a Sailor Moon outfit, like regular Sailor Moon, like Usagi, outfit, and just do a little video to it because I thought it would be funny. And then I had already bought in like the regular like blue Sailor Moon outfit, and I was like, wait, I don't like the idea of like, dancing to banda. And I mean, it's like cool regardless. But for me, I was like, I feel like this is an opportunity to make it different.
Yeah, to make it
So
your own.
yeah. So then I was like, you know what? Like, if it's banda, I'm gonna make a Mexican Sailor Moon, and that one I actually kind of worked on with my mom. Like, I was asking her because I used to dance folklorico. So I was like, I kind of wanted a little bit like similar, kind of like, with like ribbons and stuff. And I wasn't sure, but I wanted to incorporate like little things to like make it look, like Mexican Sailor Moon. And so I kind of went back and forth with my mom, and then I like put it together, and that's how I got the final like design for that one. But yeah, the rest, because I didn't really think about cultural cosplays up until I did that Mexican Sailor Moon one. Um, and then they kind of like started from there. Like then I kind of like think about it, and I'm like, oh, or sometimes I see inspo too. Like when I did a Yor, like a Mexican Yor. And I was
Yes,
just
I saw that
watching,
one.
yeah, I was just watching Spy Family, and I saw her like red outfit with like the little headband, and I was like, oh, you know what? Like I could do that one with like a traditional dress, and then the version where it's like the black, like the Princesa de Espinas. For her, I actually saw an artwork. Her name is Sammy on Instagram. She did it, and I like reached out to her, and I was like, oh, like could I like bring this vision to life? So when it is like somebody else's vision, I like give them credit. But but yeah, my original art for the most part, like I come up with when I'm bored at work.
That's when a lot of the best ideas happen is when people are bored at work.
Yeah, so I've been like designing and working on like I've been working on one, but I kind of want to play it like a little safe because I just want to make sure, since I am like a lighter skinned Mexican woman, I want to make sure that I'm doing it like appropriately. But I have had like a lot of people asking me to do like I don't want to say Aztec because there's so many different, groups. But like
Yeah.
so many people have been wanting me to like portray like that like indigenous type, but like so I've been trying to design it, and I like want to make sure that I do that right, and I want to like, cuz it would be cool, but I want to make sure that I do it like in the right way.
Yeah, to be culturally respectful and everything.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of how I come up with a lot of my stuff.
Which is really cool. I mean, I have never done anything like that. I'm not that creative, but I've always been fascinated by that because I on my Instagram I got like two different Instagrams, one my personal one and one that I reach out to you on,
Yeah.
and I see so many different cosplays and so many people that look completely different in each and every single one, and I'm like, how is that even like I could like my mind can't wrap itself around that to do anything like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like I've always been like kind of artistic. And I actually used to want to do like design when I was like younger. I was like, when people would ask me, I'd be like, "Oh, I want to be like a designer." Um, so like, yeah, I like love sitting there like while I'm working my day job and just doing little doodles and like playing around with like different designs and stuff.
My the way I do it is for me, I'm more of a storyteller, which is why I like doing this. So I write my own scripts for this. I have like my own binder with like 150 pages of scripts that I've written.
Oh, dang.
Um and it covers everything I've talked about, and I've always been, for some reason I am shy, but my job is to talk to people at work. And
Yeah.
I've always, and like when it comes down to it, like I can stand up and tell a story. When I was in college, I was great at public speaking, but deep down, I'm like, I hate this so much, but I love doing it. Like the reaction I get from people when I tell a good story. But like, I don't know, I don't see myself as creative like that. Like anyone that can draw anyone that does cosplay, make their own stuff, I'm just like, that is amazing. I'm just like drawn to it. I'm like, I wish I could do anything close to that.
Uh, hey, but storytelling is definitely its own form of art, and it's important too.
Yes, which I've also said to. I think I talked about that with Shiny Nathan, that storytelling, even such as something like this, is the new iteration of sitting around a campfire, is the podcast nowadays, and that's also why I find it. I think this is important, like telling ghost stories and things like that, because they all started somewhere.
Oh my gosh, yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, and I get that too. Like I'm a very shy and introverted person. So like, being a cosplayer, like I don't go to conventions as often. Like I feel like I do go, but it's like a couple per year because I get like very like anxious. Um so yeah, I feel you on that. Like I love it, but yeah, at the same time like I get like overwhelmed at times, especially when I go to conventions.
I've never been to a convention.
Really? Oh, you have to
Yes.
go. They're definitely an experience. They're fun. Definitely recommend.
And you know what the funny part is about that? That I've never been to one. One of my friends at work, she does like a lot of the oversight for conventions, and she can get me tickets like almost anytime I ask for them. But
Really?
I've never asked her.
Ah, you have to ask her for one that's like upcoming, just to experience it.
I should. And where I live, there's they recently started hosting a couple conventions like down the street.
Oh, good.
So
Those are
at
like the
a
best ones too, because they're usually like sometimes like they're smaller, so they're like good to like get your feet wet with conventions.
Yeah. Well, this one isn't really small anymore because
Oh,
I live in Arlington, so
oh, okay.
I'm down the street from the Cowboy Stadium, the Texas
Oh,
Ranger
dang,
Stadium,
yeah.
and there's a new hotel that just opened up, so that's where they start doing conventions now. And I'm like, oh,
Oh,
so it wouldn't be small for me. It'd
dang,
be like
yeah. So
I'd
it
be
wouldn't be
jumping
small
in
then.
head first.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But I've always been interested, and I always see the billboards and everything on my way home. I'm like, I want to go.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely fun.
Okay, so um, I usually I've already started off a little bit on what I was gonna on what I normally do when I start off an episode. It's usually small talk, a little bit of world news, things like that. Um, but is there anything that you'd like to say about anything going on right now? I know there's a lot of turmoil, which I try to stay away from, but sometimes I have to, as I've posted on my Instagram sometimes,
Hmm.
just because a lot of that stuff happens like down the street from my house too. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think that we're like definitely living through very difficult times right now, and it's like we're very divided, and I feel like we're very divided amongst Latinos, which is, really sad to see. And I think that instead of, fighting within each other, like we need to have each other's backs, and it's unfortunate that a lot aren't seeing where we're coming from, but the best thing we can do is stick together, and those who have each other's backs to keep together and keep spreading information to help those who are being affected in any way possible. I know there's a lot of things happening where we kind of have no control. I mean, you know, over what's happening, but like the best thing to do is inform, and if you can donate to the causes, and that way we can get people help who like don't have it. But just stay informed. That's the best thing we can do right now. As like much as it sucks, and I have been kind of MIA from my social media recently, if it wasn't that obvious. I've been kind of distant because I just cannot, like, it's just been too much for me
It is a
recently.
lot.
um but at the same time, like, we can't let the stress keep us uninformed. Like, we have to be informed during times like this, and I think that's my greatest advice is just keep yourself informed. Take care of your mental health, but make sure that you're staying informed and do what you can for your community during this time, because our community is going through something very difficult, and we need voices right now. We need voices, we need advocates, we need to push through this, and we have before in the past, and we will continue to do so moving forward.
Yes, I agree with all of that. There's like I wear this braided necklace that I have that's the Mexican flag colors. I wear this all the time out. My daughter has one too. Um, and I'm always in full support. I've gone to one or two protests for this. I've been to one for Cuban rights a couple years ago. So
Yeah.
I've always been a anything that has to do with the Hispanic community. I'm always try to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Just because if we're not united, then it leads to a downfall, and it's not just the downfall of one people. It's the downfall of many because it spreads throughout everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, the other day I wore my, like, I was at the gym and I was wearing my like Mexico shirt to the gym, and there was like an older, um I'm assuming he was Mexican just because he saw my shirt, but he was an older Hispanic man. And he like saw my shirt, and usually like people, don't go up to you at the gym, but he like saw my shirt and he like nodded at me and then gave me a thumbs up and like pumped my fist. So I was like, hey, like, I think during times like this, like it's like nice to show up in even the smallest ways possible, you know.
Yeah, anything helps. So you said you had some personal experiences with the paranormal.
Yes, so oh my gosh. Sometimes I
I'd
get
like to
like
jump right in on that before we get too far off on everything else.
yeah, no. So yeah, especially like okay, so I have to start from the beginning with this one because like obviously like I come from a Mexican family. So you grow up like hearing stories about, the cucuy, la chupacabra and all these stuffs, all these things, and you're like you grow up and you're afraid of these things. But
Yes.
I I come from a very rural town in Colorado. If anybody is familiar that like listens to this, it's called the San Luis Valley. And if you look it up, like it actually has a history of having like paranormal activity, like aliens, like it's you know, and just the way the valley moves, we call it the valley. It just moves different, and you can just tell like it's different. Um, but yeah, growing up there all my life and then hearing all these scary stories from my family, I don't know if it's like all of that together, but yeah, I've had some personal experiences in my life. And actually just not just there. I've had experiences actually recently in Mexico too. Um, where just crazy things have happened. And look, I studied psychology, so sometimes when I tell these stories, my friends are like, "Oh, like, well, your brain is so powerful, like it can like make you think that these things are happening when it's really not." I'm like, "Okay, look, I know I studied psychology, I get it, but like, no, this is not my brain playing tricks on me. Like, it actually happened." Um, but yeah, so that's kind of where I come from in a backstory. But yeah, do you want me just to like tell the stories or?
Yeah, just like I got a bunch of personal stories too that I've told many times. I could start off if you want, if to make it more comfortable for you.
I mean, yeah, if you want to tell one, then I can tell one too.
Okay. Um, this one happened to me when I want to say 1920. So about a couple years ago. I don't like saying my age. But yeah, so I was staying at my mom's house for a little bit, and I was on the computer on Facebook chat a long time ago, and all of a sudden I hear children, like little kids,
Ooh,
running up and down my mom's hallway.
oh my gosh.
And it was my mom, my stepdad, and my two brothers. And my brothers aren't little. They're younger than me, but they're not little kids.
Yeah.
And the next day, I woke up like I didn't get much sleep. I was like, "What was that?" I woke up and asked my mom. She's just like, "Yeah, there's just these two little ghost kids that run around at night." I was like, "You said that way too." I was like, "You said that way too calm. What do you mean? There's these
Ooh.
ghost kids that run around at night?" So, and she was like, "Yeah, just tell them to be quiet and they'll leave you alone." I'm like, "You're
Oh,
too
oh my
calm about this."
gosh.
Like, I'm like, "You've dealt with this way too many times. You should not be this calm."
Oh my gosh. If you don't mind me asking, is your mom like Hispanic?
Yes.
Okay, where is she from?
My whole family's from Allende, Coahuila,
Oh, okay. I
which is a
feel like
little
it's
border town.
okay, yeah, I feel like that's such a Hispanic mom thing because my mom is like always telling me, like she's like, no, ni a mí me da miedo ni el pinche diablo. Oh, sorry, but like yeah, like how my mom is like, she's like, ni el diablo me da miedo. Like she does not care, and I'm like, how? Like no, because I'm afraid of the devil. Like, oh my gosh, that's so funny, but scary at the same time. Like I would not be able to sleep there anymore.
Well, on top of that, like my mom's also like a medium of sorts too.
Really?
Yeah, like she's told me that like she's helped some spirits cross over at times before too.
Wow. Okay.
So that kind
Well,
of stuff
yeah.
like is just ingrained in my entire family. Like I have tons of
Yeah.
stories like that dating back all the way to other grandparents and great grandparents, things like that.
Yeah. See, that's interesting that you say that because like and I feel like I've seen so many people talking about this like that comes like more from like the indigenous side, like our like indigenous roots. But like my family has a history of like we have and it's I'm not like saying like we're psychics because I don't want people to be like, oh, like she's crazy. But like for like my grandma, like my great grandma, like some of my aunts, they've had this thing where like they have like dreams and then like whatever happens in the dream happens in like real life. And I like kind of have had that like a few experiences where that has happened to me and it's like so like it just like creeps me out every single time. And they're not like I don't know. It's almost like a premonition, but like in your dream, like you see it play out and then it like happens and I remember like I like it happened like to me one time like when I was like in middle school where I had like this dream of um like a couple kids in my class like they were all like jumping off a bridge, right? And it was like a weird dream. I woke up the next day and I told like my best friend about it because we had a sleepover and I was like, oh my god, I had the weirdest dream. And I was telling her like it was like, these four specific kids jumping off a bridge. Well, like in that same year, those four kids, they didn't jump off a bridge, but they all left like the school, like they
Yeah.
all transferred out. And I was like, when that happened, like my friend and I were talking about it, and I was like, that is like really, really weird. Like, it was like different, obviously. But like this, like, I don't know. Like it like freaked me out because it also like didn't feel like they never feel like a normal dream. They always feel like a little different and then like it like something like similar happens to it in like real life and yeah, that's like my family has like a history of stuff like that happening. And yeah, my brother, he's like seen paranormal stuff like I've never like thank goodness because I would have a heart attack. Like I'm a chicken. I would have a heart attack and pass away if I ever saw anything. But my brother has actually seen like a few like how do you say it in English? Like apparitions?
Apparitions.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like seen a couple of them and I don't know, like whenever he tells me his scary stories, I actually like get scared. Like mine are pretty scary, but they're like things that just like happen that are like crazy, but like thank God I didn't see like, you know, like a ghost.
Yeah. Like I don't think I've ever seen like an apparition. I think I've just heard and been around things that happen, but I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever seen anything actually.
Yeah. Well, I guess
My
oh sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, continue. No, continue.
No, it's okay. You go first.
I was gonna say that one of my friends that I was gonna have on here, um, he's seen one and I don't know if how to word it correctly, but I don't want to say cursed, but it affected him for a while.
Really?
Yeah, and he's a photographer. He's an amazing photographer. Um, he went out with a couple friends at night, and they took pictures at I can't remember where he was telling me it was, but in the picture you can see something like coming down on top of
Ooh.
him.
Oh
And then
gosh.
like for a while he had like some of the worst luck I have ever seen. Like for the longest that I've known him, I
Really?
my
Ugh,
the
that give me
running the
chills.
running the running joke that I've always had with him is like you've been like how close to death are you today? Because for a while like he had heart issues, then he had like some weird skin thing that was
Oh my
like
gosh.
doctors couldn't figure it out. And then
Yeah.
something else random happened. I'm like, dude, like your body's just giving up on you. What is wrong? And then
Oh
he
my
told me that story, and
gosh.
I was like, dude, I think you're cursed.
That's
And
crazy.
now he's all fine. Everything's all
Oh,
good with
yeah,
him now.
then
But like for the
good.
longest that I've known him, it was always something month to month, year to year.
That's insane. That is so creepy. Yeah. I mean, I guess like I guess it technically like maybe this counts. But this is probably my like I guess I'm going to start off with like my craziest story because this one was my most recent one.
Okay.
So, technically I feel like I saw like I don't know what it was, but I guess I did kind of see something once. But a year ago now, my grandfather had passed away, and all my family went to Mexico for his burial and funeral and everything. And this was already like after his funeral because it was like my last. It was my last night in Mexico, and when I go to Mexico currently, I like we stay at my grandma's house, and my mom and I were sharing a bed, and we we were fast asleep, the both of us, and I like wake up, and I like fully awake, like swear on everything. I was fully awake, and I look in front of me and I see like this tall black shadow like standing just like in front of me, but like kind of like kneeled forward. Like if it was like trying to like it was like tall but like looking down, like trying to look into my face. So it was like hunched over basically and like looking at me, and it wasn't sleep paralysis because I've had sleep paralysis before. I could like still like I didn't feel like I was like frozen. I was just sitting there looking back at this thing, and I was scared obviously, but like I was just sitting there like looking at it and fully awake within like seconds. So like I like wasn't frozen, but like I didn't move, and within seconds I like feel like I saw it like put its hands underneath me. And then this is the craziest part. And I have my mom to vouch for me. Before I knew it, I was flying like not like like dramatically, but like I was being tossed from where I was laying to like the other side of the bed, and I like landed sideways on my mom's legs. So it was like whatever this thing was, like put its arms under me and like flung me, and I like literally like fell over on my mom's legs. And my mom, like, she wakes up and I'm like scared. Like, I'm like, who am I kidding? I was shitted at this point. I was so freaked out. And my mom was freaked out because she was like, pues qué chingados tienes? And because I'm getting thrown on her. And she was like freaking out. She's like, what's happening? And she like gets up and like picks me up off of her legs, and I like sit there like quietly because I like literally like I'm trying to figure out what happened. So I like lay back down, and I'm just like sitting there staring at my mom, and my mom was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Mom, I don't know what just happened, but I think the devil threw me across the room." And she was like, oh my God, what did she say? She like I can't really remember what she said, but she was like basically like I like like a Mexican mom, typical Mexican mom response. She's like, I chingao. And then she lay there and she was just laying there like we both were just laying in silence because we didn't know what to like think or anything.
Yeah, like that.
Eh,
I wouldn't know what to do. I don't think I would have
Like
stayed in bed. I would have got up. I would have walked away. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
no, like we could not sleep the rest of the night because we were like both like scared, but like we were like so scared that we didn't even want to like move. You know what I mean? Because it was just
Yeah.
like kind of like what do you do in that situation? And then my mom was like, "Oh, like were you dreaming?" I was like, "Mom, like no, I was awake. And I like literally like saw it. Like I like am telling you, like it wasn't sleep paralysis. And even if it was, how did I like fly
Get
onto
moved,
like because
yeah.
I didn't like roll onto her. Like if I had just rolled onto her, that would have been one thing. But I was literally like on her legs, like laying like across the bed. Like it was like I was like thrown. And so we like were so freaked out and we just could not like we did not know like we didn't even know what to like think of it at that point. We were like, okay, whatever. No, that very next morning, my mom like was like, no, tell your mommy Tina what happened. That's my what we call my grandma. She's like, no, dile a tu mami Tina que te pasó anoche, que te visitó el diablo. Platícale. And I remember telling my mom, my grandma, I was like, "Oh yeah, pues, yeah, this happened." Oh no, they rushed me into a room, like because we have it's called like the cueva, so it's like a secluded room, kind of like in the back. They like rushed me into the room and they did an egg cleaning so fast on me, like, they sent me and I got an egg cleaning done like within the hour of telling her. And she was like, "Yeah,
I-
no, we're not playing that game." And I went
I'm
and got
surprised they
cleansed.
didn't do the sweeping, the one where they use the what is it? Es una rama de like
Yeah,
spices.
like sage.
Yeah, I hate that one because it's all rough and they're like
Yeah.
scratching with it. I'm like, stop! Like, just
Yeah,
let me
but
be
it's probably
possessed
because
at least. Quit scratching me.
it's probably because they didn't have it. Because if not, I'm sure they would have. Because they would have been like, "No, para sacarle el diablo." No, like, oh, it was crazy. Like, yeah, and well, I think they were really scared because they thought like, like it was like el ojo. So they were like,
Yeah,
"Oh no, es el ojo, es el ojo." So they're like, "Oh, like we have to do the limpieza." And I was about to get on a plane, so like everybody was like freaked out because they were like, "What the fuck?" And I had to get on a plane, and yeah, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but that was one of the scariest ones where I guess like I don't know what I saw exactly. Like it was just like a black shadow. And
I
then
think
yeah, it like it like tossed me up in the air. I was like, I don't know. I think that was one of the craziest things. And I never looked into that to see if like other people have experienced anything like that. Um since it happened to me, I haven't looked into it, but now I'm kind of interested to see if anybody else has ever experienced that.
like that kind of where you're from or just in general.
Just in general, but like where I'm from too. I'd like it's yeah, I'd be interested to see.
It's I've done a full episode on that. I think on sleep paralysis demons itself.
Really?
Or no, it was a small part of an episode, and it stretches like the history of like sleep paralysis demons like stretches farther than I ever thought it would, and it
Really?
is yeah, it is insane.
Dang. So you
I'd have
think
to
it
look
was
up
like
my
like sleep
research.
paralysis then?
For that kind of movement, I don't know, just because of the way you got like tossed.
Yeah.
But normally, you don't people don't ever move.
Yeah, that's what I was saying because I was like I've had sleep paralysis before, like I feel like that's, everybody has like sleep paralysis every once in a while. And I've had it and it's like the worst feeling ever. And you do see like something similar where like it's like something like standing over you. But yeah, I've never like because I've always like, you freeze up and you're trying to move and you can't. But like in this moment, I genuinely like didn't feel this is like the weird part. I didn't feel like that afraid in the moment. Like I was awake and I was like what is happening, but I wasn't like afraid. And I was still like I still felt like functioning. I didn't feel like I like couldn't move. Like I didn't feel like I was paralyzed. Like I felt like normal. And then
Yeah,
I got tossed in the air. And then after the fact was when like my mom and I were talking and I was like telling her what happened was more when I started getting afraid because I was like, no, like, wait, actually, like, that's crazy. Like, what just happened?
I I luckily have not had sleep paralysis. I have had um sleep anxiety, which is terrifying. I think it's I think sleep paralysis is more terrifying, but sleep anxiety, waking up with such panic like I have,
Oh, yeah.
is almost as bad, but I think sleep paralysis is worse. Because there's been
Yeah.
times when I'll be like laying like asleep, and then the next second I'm standing straight up because my body
Oh,
just throws itself straight up
really?
because I'm in such a panic.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it hasn't happened in a while, but it's happened a few times. A lot more when I was growing up, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd wake up in such a panic that I wouldn't even be laying down. Like I'd wake up and I'd be standing up.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, that stuff like really like that was like probably like my like scariest experience, and I don't know what it was. I'll have to look into it now after the fact. I think when it happened too, like a part of me was like, oh, like I don't think my grandpa would be one to come back and like haunt me because that's not his. That's just not the kind of person he was. But because it was just weird because it was like around the time my grandpa died. But then they say like too like when there's a death in the family like que se sale el diablo, and so I think it might have just been the time and so many like so many things. But who knows? It was scary, but definitely like I think that I don't know why I get this vibe. I just feel like Mexico is more haunted, like
I
than the
mean,
U.S.
all the stories that I've looked up, there's a lot more that come out of the Hispanic culture from Mexico and further south, and it's just a lot more. I think the main thing about it though is that it's more connected to like the indigenous side of Mexico.
Yeah, I agree with that because I
Because
feel like I feel like when I talk to this like about this stuff with like other like like Latinas, and like they're like, oh, like yeah, like like they're like yeah, like we have so many stories too. And then when I like tell somebody who's like white, they think I'm crazy when I tell them these things because like they don't like grow up like hearing all this
yeah,
stuff like we do,
the only
which is
times
crazy.
like a lot of like white people hear about these stories is if they grow up either with a big presence of Hispanic community or Native Americans.
Yeah, that's
So
like yeah, that's like sorry, that's like the movie Sinners. I don't know if you watch Sinners.
I haven't seen it yet. I've been wanting to see it, but I have not yet.
uh oh my gosh, I don't want to spoil it then,
Oh,
but
don't worry, because I have like really bad ADD. You could tell me the whole movie, and by the time I go to work tonight, I would have already forgotten.
no, there's just a piece in Sinners. It's such a good movie. The like the beginning where like like the vampire shows up and he like tries to warn like the white like he like shows up to like like these white people's house and like trying to track down the vampire, and they just left because the sun was going down, so they were like, you know what, yeah, we're not gonna deal with this because like like they were natives, so they were like they know like they're more in tune with like that stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool that they did that in the movie, but yeah, I definitely see the difference when I'm talking to like my Hispanic friends versus like my American friends because it's like they didn't grow up like hearing that stuff. And I don't know if it's like we open the door because we like grow up hearing all these things. So like we kind of like open that door or like kind of like drop a veil almost between.
I think that too. Like it's like I said, I think it's mainly because we're just more in tune with that. We grew up listening to it. We grew up like, oh, if you hear this or if you see this, it means this. So our brains are already like, okay, if this happens, that means that there's something nearby. So we're more attuned to seeing and experiencing that kind of stuff than other people are.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could see that. But yeah, and I will say like, because I was talking about how like where I come from, it's the very like I'm telling you, if you look up San Luis Valley, in Colorado, like you will find very interesting things because it is a very like they say it's like a vortex. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but yeah, they say it's like very supernatural in the valley. And yeah, growing up, I had the worst luck out of everyone in my family because my room was so haunted to this day, to this very day. I cannot sleep whenever I go to my mom's house because it is just the creepiest room. Um, but yeah, like when I was younger, and I actually told this story one time when I was live streaming. Um, on one of my streams, I was telling them that like I think I was probably like 15 or 16 around that. I knew I was in high school for sure. So I was like, old enough to like know like what was, not that I wasn't making it up. And I was on the phone with one of my friends at the time, and even like to this day he remembers this happening because we were on the phone with each other, and it was about like close to like 3 in the morning, and we're still on the phone, and all of a sudden I hear like the loudest bang. Like it literally, because we used to have our TV mounted on the wall. It
Yeah.
was so loud. Like I thought the TV like fell off the wall or something. And, couldn't sleep with my door closed when I was younger. So I had my door open, and I like, where the way my room is, you can see directly out into like the living room. So you could see everything. And I like peek out and like look out the door, and I didn't see anything. And then I like get this like heavy, heavy feeling in my chest. And like it was like something was telling me to close the door. And I like jump out of my bed, and I don't know how I did it because I like jumped out of my bed and basically jumped again. Like I like took 2 steps to get to that door because I was so scared. I like jumped across my room, and I go to close the door. And again, when I go to close the door, I have a perfect view of like the living room, and it's like an open living room, so I could see if somebody was in there or like near like in that vicinity. When I go to close the door, something starts pushing the door open. Like while I'm trying to close it, they're pushing against me to open the door. And I'm literally like at this point like very very scared, and I like am fighting with all my life to close this door. And it is crazy, but I started praying because I was so scared. So I was like, oh my God, like God, please help me, please help me, God. And as soon as I started praying, the door shut. And I shut that door. I locked it so fast. And then I like walk like very slowly because I was like scared. I like walk slowly to my bed. I pick up the phone because like I just like had tossed it on the bed. And I like picked the phone up, and I'll never forget this because like my friend was like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? Are you okay? What's happening?" And I just picked the phone back up and put it to my ear, and I was like, "Let me call you tomorrow." And I just hang up, and I call the house phone. I call the house phone, and my poor dad, he picks up, and I'm like, "Dad, I think there's someone in the house," and like freaking my dad out. And so like, my dad, he's awesome. I love him. He's literally the best dad there is. This poor guy gets up, and he's very protective, so he goes and sweeps the house basically. And then he like comes to my door, and he like knocks and is like, "Oh, like, can you open the door?" And I open the door, and he was like, there's nothing like here. Like, what are you talking about?" And I was like telling him, I was like, "No, Dad, like I heard something fall on the floor." And then I like walked around the house with my dad, and like there was nothing on the floor, like nothing, like there was nothing nowhere. There's
Yeah,
not a
nothing that
thing
would
out
say
of
that there was
place.
anyone there.
Yeah, there's nothing out of place. Everything was perfectly fine. Like I would have felt better if like something had fallen over and it was just like, oh, like something fell over, like nothing was out of place. Everything was totally fine. But like and I was perfectly like, I was wide awake when this happened and everything. So like, I think my dad thought I was crazy, and I was like, "No, Dad, like I swear to God, like it sounded like a loud bang, and then something was trying to open the door while I was trying to close it, but like nothing was there in front of me. So like I I just always stayed with that because I was like what was that? Like it literally like it was the scariest thing. And I tell this story a lot because like I mean this happened when I was like younger, like 15 or 16. So I was like freaked out ever since then. I could not stand. And that room just gives off bad vibes in general, like even like before that had happened. But like then that happened and you like then of course like my family found out, and like the very next day I have to go to school. And when I get back from school, my brother, I love him to death, but he was kind of an asshole for this. I used to have like the cross, like the crucifix in my room, and he took it off the wall and like hung it upside down in my room when I got back home from school. So I walk in and see the cross like laying on the floor upside down, and I like am freaking out, and I'm like crying at this point. And then it was like just him, and I was like, "No, like Eric, if you did this, like you need to tell me if you were like trying to open my door last night. Like just please be honest with me." And he was like, "No, dude, like I swear on my life, like it was not me." To this day, he swears it was not me. And I also would have seen it if it was him because like I said, like I have a perfect view, and like there wouldn't be anywhere that he could hide and then get to the door fast enough to like try to fight to open it. Like I would have been able to see him if he was
Yeah.
there. So yeah, to this day, don't know what that crazy like what that was that happened, but it yeah, it definitely happened. And ever since then, like, you know, my brother, he has kids and stuff. And whenever his kids go and sleep in that room, like my mom is like they hate it. Like they're so afraid of that room. Like they don't like sleeping in there. And even like some of my cousins, like I've had cousins that you know like sometimes they'll stay with my mom like when their parents are in Mexico and stuff, and they're like, oh, like no, that room creeps me out, that room creeps me out. And I was like, yeah, I've been saying for the longest that that room is
That there's something
definitely
off.
there's something off in that room, like for sure. And my mom always was like, oh well, like because I had it painted pink and like hot pink and like zebra because I was a teenager in like the early 2010s, so it was hot pink and zebra. And my mom said it was because the colors are too dark, so she painted it white. But yeah, I mean, I was just there now for Christmas and stuff, and I was staying there with my partner, and like my partner never really believed that like anything that I was saying about my room. And then one night I was like, all right, like I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I get up, I go to the bathroom. When I walk back in, I go to close the door. And as soon as I close the door, there's like a knock on the door, like a not like a knock, but like a bang. Like it literally was like a bang on the door. And we both like froze and looked at each other and we're like, like freaked out. And when when I got like when I got in bed, they were like, "Oh, well, yeah, like when you went to the bathroom, it like sounded like somebody was walking in front of the door." So then I texted my younger brother who still lives with my mom, and I was like, "Oh, like were you getting a water?" Because sometimes they leave the waters, like the water bottles next to my room. And he was like, "No, like why?" And I was like, "Oh, no reason." But then he called me and he was like, "No, like for real, why?" And I like told him that like what me and my partner had heard. And so the three of us were all freaked out because we're like, "What?" Like, no. So yeah, basically like my partner was like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to like get like a hotel or something next time we visit your parents because it is like your room has like the worst vibes."
Yeah, no, like I couldn't be able to do that. The closest thing that I've ever had something like that happen, and it's nowhere near as terrifying as that, is that like I've had at my grandmother's house, I've had like I've seen doors open and close.
Oh no, that's spooky too
That's
though.
it. That's it. Like one day my cousin came over. I was in one of the back rooms, so I was nowhere near the door. He said he saw someone walk in front of the door because it was one of those doors
Ooh.
with the those stained glass windows, so you can kind of see through, but you can't see who was on the other side.
Yeah. Ooh.
And he said he saw someone clear as day just walk right by, and I was like, "There's no one here, dude. It's just me, and I've been in the back this whole time."
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, that stuff. Ugh,
But I
I can't do
I have
that.
never had anything that terrifying. Like it sounds like you've just like attract the terrifying stuff. I've had
Well,
like I've heard little kids laughing. I've
no,
seen
I think that
something.
would
I've
actually
seen
like
I've
I'd
seen a
have a heart
door
attack.
open. I've seen a door open, but you've been like tossed around and pushed. I'm like,
This
I,
is gonna make me sound like I'm possessed. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Yeah, now that whenever I tell these stories, everybody's like, "What the hell?" I'm like, "No, like I just genuinely think that I have like a haunted room." And then the one in Mexico, I don't know what that was about. Like genuinely, like I have no idea why that happened in Mexico. It was the craziest, craziest thing. Yeah, maybe I do like I don't know. I don't know what I need to go. Maybe I do need to get smacked with some sage. I have like
oh,
some kind of something. But
those are some crazy stories. I don't think I've ever had anything that bad, or not that bad, but like that intense happen. I think yeah, no, I've had like small things, but nothing like that before.
yeah, yeah, there's yeah, like they're crazy. So like I said, when I tell people they're like a lot of times they're like, "Oh, like you're full of shit. You're full of shit." I'm like, "Okay, well, if that's what you want to believe, but I know that I'm not making it up cuz I wish I was, to be honest. I wish I could go stay at my mom's and like, sleep peacefully at my mom's house, but like no, like I I don't think I get any sleep whenever I go to my mom's because I'm just like always just
On
scared.
edge.
I'm always
Yeah.
on edge, like, and usually like things don't happen, but like when they do, it's like what, like oh my gosh, like yeah, like the most recent one, like I said, that one was in December when it was like a knock. Like I literally closed the door and then it was like a bang on the door. Like as soon as I closed it, it literally made no sense.
Yeah, that's crazy. I can't like I'm trying to think like I haven't had anything like that. I think the closest thing is just the doors opening and closing. That's about it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to. I'd be like, I don't think I'm gonna go visit you anymore.
Yeah, no, I had friends that like my best friend, she was like she like couldn't sleep over at my house after cuz she would always be like, "Dude, like I don't like your room, like it just feels off." And she has like some experiences too that she like, she like didn't like staying over at my house anymore. But like I said, like I think it's like something that runs like I don't know what it is, but like something in my family because like my brother on the other hand, like he has actually seen things, which is
Yeah,
crazy. And at in our house too, and in the house in Mexico. But he's like seen like whereas I saw like that like kind of like black shadow looking thing, my brother has like seen like people looking ghosts, like literally like apparitions. Like he's seen them and like I don't know. He always tells a story about like this one was really weird, but one night he heard like a really loud bang too, and he got up because he thought that somebody was like hitting his car with rocks. Like I don't know. So he like woke up and like ran outside, and when he ran outside, he said that he like saw somebody like walking down the road like right in front of our house, and then he started yelling at them, and like he said that like he couldn't make out a face, but it was like a person just like kind of like in white, like a white shirt, and he like looked like bloodied, like he looked like he was like covered in blood. And that like my brother walks out because he thought that he was like that this thing was throwing rocks at his car, and he like yells at him, he's like, "Hey!" And then like when it like turned to face him, like there was literally like no face. And so my brother was like, "Yeah, I'm not dealing with this." So then he like runs inside, and he's like telling us the next day, well, like that next day we heard that there was like a bad car accident on what we call it like La Vida Pass. It's basically just like a pass through the mountains to get to like, like the city. There's an accident on there, and like the semi driver had passed away. And when like we heard that, like my brother was so shitted because he was like, "Oh my gosh, like no, like literally like I think I saw him last night." And like no, like he told my like we were telling my grandma about it, and she was like, "Nope. All right. Vamos a hacer una limpieza otra vez. Like let's get into it, go." Like like so like if I had ever seen something like that, I think I would die. Like I'm not even joking. Like I would probably have a heart attack.
I have a very similar story to that.
Seriously?
Yes, my
Oh god.
youngest brother, um, growing up, he randomly had like an imaginary friend. Right, every little kid has an imaginary friend,
Yeah.
or so we thought.
Oh
And
gosh.
he starts describing this imaginary friend, and he's describing this little kid, and we're listening to him and everything, and he tells like, oh, he's not he was like, oh, he doesn't feel well, or he started telling us about him. And then that same like week that he was talking about it, we saw on the news that a little boy was left in a car at a daycare and passed away from the heat.
Oh my god.
And that little boy was the little boy that my brother was describing.
Oh,
Like
that is so, I mean, that's
exactly
like really
to the
sad, but like, oh my
like
gosh.
exactly. And we were like, no. My mom and grandma did a cleansing like instantly that same day, that same night.
Yeah, I mean, ugh,
But yeah, he
no,
described him
that's
like
scary.
exactly to what he was wearing that same day.
Yeah, no, that is it is scary, and it's I mean that's very sad, obviously too that poor kid that died, but
Yeah.
it is interesting to see how like how some people how some people can experience that, how they're like attuned with that like supernatural side. I think I block it
Yeah,
off on purpose because I'm like, God, I never want to see that in my life because I like would not like I know I would be so scared. I would not be able to handle it.
that yeah, I wouldn't be able to. That's terrifying. Like I heard that and I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not. I ignored it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go play now, because I was a little kid too at the time. I was like, I'm just gonna go play.
Yeah, no, that is scary. Oh, but my younger brother had a. I don't know if I ever had one, but like my younger brother had one, and that's always why my best friend was freaked out because my younger brother he had an imaginary friend named Lulu. I don't know, but then he would be like drawing like pentagrams, and he was like 5. And we were like, and he'd be like, "Yeah, Lulu is telling me to draw them," and me and my best friend were like, this kid needs to go to get like an exorcism." Now he's totally normal. But yeah, he was a little creepy when he was a kid. He would definitely freak me out when he would talk about his friend Lulu and then drawing like
Yeah, no, that I don't.
some stuff.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is crazy. My main thing that I try to avoid in any type of like on my streams on the podcast is talking about ghost kids, because for some reason that's the one thing that terrifies me the most. Anything
Ooh,
else,
yeah.
I can listen to the stories. I'll If I ever get a chance to, I'd love to go uh, ghost hunting. I've been asked by a couple of people that I know, and I'm like, if I ever, I'm like, my schedule is busy, but if I ever get a chance, I'd love to go. But anything that's to do with kids, I'm like, nah, it's okay. I'd rather not.
Yeah, no. I feel the same way. I think that is like so much creepier. And like I've never really had an experience with ghost kids, but like my brother again has. And again, this was the one that was in Mexico for him. He got up and my mom was like, "Oh, like it's okay. It's just your grandma's," cuz my grandma had lost a son.
Yeah.
Um So she was like, "Oh, it's just Rodrigo visiting." But I was like, "Oh, I do not care who it is. I don't want to see them." Like, like, so my brother, we were in Mexico, and this is years ago. This was like, oh my gosh, 10, 12 years ago. And my grandma, like, you know how the houses are like stacked up in Mexico? So, like, she has like a downstairs, and then she has like the second story where she has like her kitchen, and, outside of the kitchen, there's a balcony. So basically, you have to go through a hall, and then to the left, there's a bathroom, and then you walk in like straight into the kitchen. So my brother was walking to go to the bathroom, and he could look directly into the kitchen. And looking directly into the kitchen, I know, I'm sorry, this is kind of confusing. But looking directly through the kitchen, he can look straight out to the balcony. And as he's going, he's looking straight into the balcony, and he sees like a little kid sitting on the balcony with like his like legs crossed, like he's like sitting like crisscross.
Yeah.
And my brother was like, "Oh, like I think it's Derek." Our younger brother, because at that time my younger brother was probably like, like 8 or something. So he was like, "Derek, like get inside." And that like it just wasn't like acknowledging him at all. And then again, my brother was like, "Derek, get inside." And then like he like just this like kid was just ignoring him. And after that, Eric did. I don't even think he went to the bathroom. I think that he was just like, "Yeah, no, I'm holding until the morning," and he like booked it back into his room. But I was like, "Yeah, no, like I can't do stuff like that. Like that stuff freaks me out." When I'm sorry, I like said that after you said that you don't like talk about it. I just realized my
Oh
bad.
no, it's all good.
But generally, like my mom is like, I think that that's just like the kid that like my grandma had lost. And yeah, I think it was just that, like innocent, because it wasn't doing nothing bad. I think it was just, you know, that's where he lived, and
Just there, yeah.
yeah, he was just there. Um, but yeah, I won't tell. I think I have another one, but I won't tell it because.
Oh no, it's okay because I'm way over here.
Okay, well, I'll
I'm
tell
in
this.
another state, so I'm okay with this.
We all think that this is like the same thing, but like we when my grandpa passed away last year, we had like two funerals. We had like the one in the States, and his body wasn't there, but we just had like the church. And after the church, we, the whole family got together and we took like a family photo. And when we go and look back through the photos, all of us are dressed in black, right? We're all dressed in black. In the photo, right in front of like not like directly in front of me, but like it would have been like I would have seen him basically. In the photo, there is a kid standing in there with the rest of us, dressed up like in red. Like it looks like he's like all in like all red. And when we saw this photo, like everyone in the family was like, "Who is this random kid in this picture?" And everybody was like, "What the, like, no, like we didn't see him," because none of us saw him. And like he would have been like directly in front of me. So my mom asked me, she was like, "Oh, like who is that kid?" I was like, "Mom, I swear on everything, I did not see any kid when we were taking pictures. Especially like I would have seen a little kid jump in with a red, like it looked like a
Yeah,
hoodie almost." And it is like the creepiest. Because yeah, just like in the picture, you just see like this kid that nobody knows how he got in this photo. He's just in there, and like my family just kind of was like, "Oh no, it's okay. Like it's just our brother Rodrigo." So like the baby that my my grandma lost. I was like, okay. Still doesn't kind of make me feel better, but it was definitely creepy.
uh, I've always, for some reason, like people that are just, some people are just way too calm about that. Like they've experienced it way too much. I'm like, this shouldn't be normal.
Yeah, no, it's really like my family was like, I get freaked out. After like a while, I think I get desensitized. Like if it's like a story that I've already lived through, I'm like, oh, okay, because I love talking about it. Then
Yeah,
it's like, I like telling it as a story. But no, in the moment, I was very freaked out. I was like, no, like like where'd this kid come from? What? It was so creepy. And yeah, I'm a scaredy cat. Like at the end of the day, I am such a chicken. I do not do well with anything. I can't even watch horror movies because that's how like much of a chicken I am. Um, I can't do scary movies or anything. But who needs to watch scary movies when your own experiences are like way worse? Like,
Very
ugh.
true.
It's
I'm
brutal.
I'm actually a very big scary movie fan.
Really? I just could never. Well, I think I also like I grew up very like, oh, like if you watch it, like you're inviting it in. So like I feel like now I just like can't bring myself to, but I don't know. It seems like we have some crazy stuff happening in our family regardless of watching scary movies. So I don't know how that's getting invited in.
Yeah, I
Cause
don't know. Like I've been a part of stuff like that, but and I've always been told the same thing. Like if you watch it, you're inviting. I'm like, I'm still gonna watch the movie.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let it stop me from watching my favorite movie here.
um oh sorry.
It's okay.
Hold on. I thought I had my thing on do not disturb, but oh, can you hear me?
Yes,
Sorry about that. Ugh.
I know.
Um,
It's okay. It gave me a heads up. I get a notification. It said that you paused it. I was like, okay, I'll wait. I'll wait real quick.
sorry, I thought I had it on do not disturb, and I still got a call. I don't know how. Um, but yeah, like I don't even know where I was at, but yeah, I'm just a scaredy cat to be honest.
Do you have? Speaking of like, we were talking about horror movies. Do you have any plans to do anything more like on the scarier side of your cosplays later on once it gets closer to Halloween?
I want to. I want to like start branching out a little bit because I feel like my cosplays have mainly been like anime, and I want to get to kind of to the point where I'm like, it's not just anime focused. So like, I'm taking recommendations. I usually put like, oh, like give me recommendations, and I screenshot every single like request that I get from people, and I'm pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. So I've been like not that great at getting new cosplays out because like I had gotten like laid off earlier or like later last year. So I'm barely starting to recover. So now that like I'm like starting to recover a little bit from that, um like I want to start like expanding and like doing a little bit more like just branching out in general in my cosplay. But yeah, if you have any recommendations, I'm definitely open to doing stuff, like even if it's like outside of anime.
I mean, I think there's some good like things that you could probably adapt within anime too. That'd be more suited to your style, but also branching out a little bit more too. Because there's a lot of anime out there.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe like I'll do like a Yorona for Halloween.
That'd be cool.
I was always scared of the Yorona though.
That yeah, that's one of the biggest stories. I think I've done 3 episodes over La Llorona.
Really? I have
I
to
did
listen to
one
this.
with I've done one with Shining Nathan, and then I did one on my own over the weeping women of across the folklore across like Mexico and Brazil and everything. And then I think I just did like one specifically over La Llorona myself. But like the story stretched everywhere and it goes all the way back to pre-Hispanic Mexico before the conquistadors came over, and
Oh,
like that's
really?
when it started the original La Llorona story.
Really?
And then yeah, like the original story um was that an indigenous woman met up with the conquistadors and helped them and
Oh, dang.
betrayed her family, and that's how the story of La Llorona came to be, because she betrayed her family and everything, and she was like pushed out of the community, and then she lost her kids and everything.
Dang.
That's how the oldest story that I could find. That's how it started.
That's interesting. Now I'm gonna have to go. Yeah, definitely listen to that one. Um,
Anything older than that, and it goes into like the different kind of Aztec and Mayan gods.
oh, that's see, I like love like anything. Like I love learning about like Mesoamerica and like all like their like gods and their, I think it's so interesting. I've always been fascinated in that stuff since I was little and like their mythology and everything.
Yes.
I think it's so cool.
Um, over the let's see if I can't find it. Let's see. Trying to look. I'm looking through my list of like all the ones that I've done. I did one called "Exploring the Aztec Gods, the Goddesses and Demonesses," the gods of Aztecs lore. I've done a few over them because there's so many, and the stories are so interesting.
Dang, yeah, I'm gonna have to catch up on them. I've been so busy, because I like when you reached out to me, I was like, yeah, absolutely. But I was like literally in the process of moving across the country. So I have been like slammed lately. Oh my gosh. So I'm like barely starting to slow down a little bit. So I'm definitely gonna catch up now that I'm like unpacking and stuff. I'm gonna throw them on so I can listen to them.
You know, side tangent that just came to my mind because of the Aztec goddesses, and this is one that bothered me when I went to go see this movie. So in the movie Moana 2, there
Yeah.
is a demon, like a demoness or a
Mm-hmm.
goddess, whatever you want to consider her,
Yeah.
and it's like an obsidian butterfly, like a black winged butterfly, and that is actually one of the um, gods and goddesses of Aztec mythology.
Really?
Yes, I don't know what it's a different one, but
Oh,
it
okay.
it it draws like inspiration directly from it, and I was like, I saw it in the movie, and I was like, I know which one that is. And then I was
Yeah.
watching it, I was like, and then in my mind, I was like, there's so many comparisons between all the mythology that there's bound to be some crossover and lapping. And
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that was one of the main ones that stood out the most to me, was that in a movie about Polynesian culture, that there is uh, an entity that directly correlates to Mesoamerica.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's cool. I haven't even seen Moana too, actually. So like kind of that's cool though.
I don't like my mind. That's how my brain works. As soon as you said something about that, and I looked at my list, I was like,
Yeah.
I there's something I've seen something that correlates to that.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, it's Aztec mythology, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name. My Nahuatl is horrible, and I'm not going to pronounce it.
Yeah, no,
But it
it's
is part of Aztec mythology too, and I was like, that is interesting.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I love all that. I love all that stuff. Learning like not just like obviously I like really like learning about like Aztec and Mayan mythology, but like I've always been obsessed like even with like Greek mythology. Like I just love like I love like learning about like mythology in general. I think it's
Yeah,
so cool.
I've looked into so many things growing up too. Greek, Aztec, Roman, American, any kind of indigenous mythology. I've always looked into it. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
And actually, that gave me an idea because I've seen that you've done. Um, didn't you do one that was a butterfly inspired theme?
I did. Yeah, I did do a sailor like with the monarch butterfly,
Yes.
which I originally did that one more. I had originally done it for I was kind of trying to portray because I was starting to do like states um and like do like a sailor that represents each state of Mexico. And originally I was doing that one for Michoacan and um So that's actually where that one came from, was more from like the Michoacan, like with the monarchs and stuff.
You could probably do something similar and stay within your style if you did, since you said earlier you wanted to cross over a little bit more into like the indigenous side. You could probably do
Yeah.
something similar to that, but adapt it for the obsidian butterfly.
Ooh, that would look cool.
Since you already have the main design down, the only difference between that and the obsidian butterfly is just the color palette.
Yeah. Yeah. See, you are artistic. Look at you coming up with ideas.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Unless you have any more stories that you want to share, or if anything you'd want to say before we wrap it up.
um, no, I mean, I'm sure I have plenty of stories, but yeah, I won't bombard you with my whole life of scary stories. Plus, I don't want to come off crazier than that. I probably already do. But yeah, no, yeah, it was fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, yeah. I'll extend to you the same invitation that I extend to everyone. If you're available towards the end of the year, I like to try to do a roundtable with whoever else I have on. The last one I did was with 4 or 5 different people, and it was just different guests that I had on throughout that year.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to be a part of it.
So I will keep in touch, and if more people join, I'll let you know. That way, you're not bombarded by like random people. Like, who is this person? Like, that way everyone can
Yeah.
kind of see who each other are.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, hopefully it's because I have like my MacBook, and like my camera's not working on it. So hopefully, I'm sure by then, because like right now, since I just moved across the country, I don't have my PC set up. So hopefully by then, I'll have my PC and everything. So I'll have everything up and running. I'll be a little bit more prepared. This cross country move just really has been insane.
I'm technically, yeah, about to not move far. Like, I'm just changing rooms because
Oh yeah.
I had someone stay in another room of my house, so I'm getting my office back soon. So I'll have an
Oh,
entire
nice.
space set up to it. Because right now
Yeah.
I got a little green screen behind me, so you can't really see what's behind me.
Oh, yeah.
And I like the green screen for random things like this, but I prefer like my office setup again. So
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I've been, you know, struggling with like the move, with like not having my stuff, especially not having my PC. I'm like, I feel like I'm going crazy. See.
yeah, man, my setup here is cramped, but I like it. But I want my space again so I can move around like I used to.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
So, well, I guess I will let you go now. I will
Yeah.
keep in touch if any other stories or any other things you want to share. I'll gladly have you on any other time. But yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much.
and I will cut up and splice a bunch of this into like little mini clips, and I'll edit them out, and I'll send you copies of them all too.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah. I guess that's it, and I will talk to you whenever I can and see about the roundtable at the end of the year.
Okay, awesome. We'll keep in touch.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye. Jesus. Okay, well that's it. She had a lot of great stories. I will do a roundtable like I did a year ago or the year before. I don't know who I'm gonna have on, but we'll have somebody on like always. I'm trying to get at least 2 or 3 more people like I did last time. I think last time I had like no last the big one I had was like 4, 5. So we'll have more people. If you have any recommendations on who I should get next, please let me know. I got another cosplayer lined up, and I have a fan lined up, which I need to reach out to her because the last time I talked to her, to set it up. There was an incident within her family, so she couldn't do it. So I got to reach back out. I'm really bad about reaching out to people. Yeah, that's it. I will see y'all guys next time.